Okay. Well, welcome. The time is now 5 p.m. and we are going to go into a study session to review the new title changes, and we will start our normal meeting at 6 p.m.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you, Director Kincaid.
Yeah.
And thank you, admin team, for all being here. This is also in response. So there's many Title IX changes, and staff are ready to present on that. Secondly, we did present on this earlier today at our School of Rock back to school event with staff. And then some components of this would put in our safe schools training for all staff. The biggest thing is there's federal changes to Title IX, and there's a through line to many board policies and procedures that are also in the agenda tonight. So I want to have an opportunity for the board to hear about some of those changes and the why, and then how we'll be working through two different sets of legislation depending on when a complaint was done or when it occurred. Correct, Jen? Okay. Because we'll be working on the old for something that is before August 1st, 2024 on the old regulations and the new regulations. So this is just an overview for you all and lots of information in the slides that will be shared with you. And then we'll continue to train staff as we go. Okay, so, all right, let's get to the fun.
Oh, before we do, I just wanted to say we are need to vote to excuse Peter this evening. He is not available tonight, so
It's on vacation.
yeah. I don't actually know how to do that. Do you?
Move.
Oh,
Move to excuse.
I move to excuse Peter from this evening's meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, we
And then
All right, well, thank you for having me here tonight. Rachel, are you here? Okay. So tonight, Rachel and I will be co-presenting. We're going to talk to you about the Title IX ruling or regulation changes that were effective August 1st, 2024. And so in our district, we have one person, but we have three people who kind of take on this role. So myself, Jennifer Harmon, I take on any employee-related Title IX complaints. And Rachel Quarterman will take on student-related, and Emily oversees kind of Title IX as an overall.
Emily and I will partner around the Title IX pieces and the updates, because there's quite a few of them coming through, and it's going to be ongoing throughout the school year.
So, and these regulations came through from OSPI effective August 1st.
So this was also shared today at School of Rock. It was definitely a hard act to follow. It was, and terrifying, frankly.
I didn't turn the buttons on.
That's on. We'll click it off and see if it works. Oh, awesome. So the purpose of the new Title IX rules outline prohibitions on sex-based harassment and specific requirements for school districts to respond to complaints of sex-based discrimination. These rules represent a shift in the federal standards for how schools must respond to sexual harassment, and then aligns it with Washington sexual harassment guidelines. The bulletin will be there as well to reference, so that anybody that wants to pull up the bulletin, these are just the key points taken directly from that bulletin, and then some updates and timelines around where we are with making these changes. So background information. So basis of sex and education programs and activities. So for me, coming up from an athletic director standpoint, like I'm used to seeing it around making sure we offer the same amount of boys sports as we do girls sports. And then this is shifting really around the complaint process, and that we all, of course, are required to report it. And then we'll have a prescriptive complaint process. It applies a little bit of a narrower definition around those sexual harassment pieces. We shared the revised code of Washington, and then discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression is also expressly prohibited in Washington K-12 schools, and that's taken directly from OSBI's civil rights guidelines. So in accordance with Washington law and guidelines to prevent discrimination, school districts must treat students consistently with their gender identity. It's non-negotiable. Schools must also ensure students are free from discriminatory harassment based on sexual orientation, identity, and expression. Formal complaint process that all school districts must implement in response to these complaints alleging any sex-based discriminations. So again, just aligning federal with Washington state law. This includes a broadened scope of what constitutes of sex discrimination. So they've provided some clear definitions around some of those pieces. And then rules establish a definition for sex-based harassment that considers the behavior from both an objective and subjective lens. The definition also includes a list of factors to consider as part of a fact-specific inquiry into whether sex-based harassing behavior creates a hostile work environment. In the case of students, right? So the overview, Title IX rules specify the obligations that we have as a K-12 public school to provide an educational environment free from discrimination on the basis of sex and to respond to any notice of a sex-based discrimination occurring. So these are, it is, so these are some of the policies and then some of the work and next steps. Jennifer's worked really hard on making sure that we're incorporating them into some of our safe schools training. So in addition to our staff getting the information I just shared with you, they will also have some follow-up pieces and some modules that Jennifer will talk more about.
So this change is going to keep us busy in many different areas. So we have to revise policies and procedures related to sex-based discrimination. And so school districts, we have to update our policies to comply with these new rules. One will be our sex-based discrimination 3205 and the procedure. And these incorporate the new Title IX rules and existing state law rules and guidelines. WASTA is helping us with the revisions and some new model policies to address some of the other pieces that are new in this update. So we will have the duty to ensure all employees receive training related to their Title IX duties. So there's all employees. There's the folks who review the grievance procedure. There's the Title IX coordinators. So then we have to develop kind of a plan to roll it out to current staff, which really right now there is the all staff module, which we are going to put in safe schools. I created it and now I'm just having trouble trying to figure out how to assign it to everyone. So that should be out by tomorrow. And then we'll add it to new hire training as part of every new employee orientation that will get all of that piece. So this is where we'll be really busy. OSBI has provided a model handbook for language around updating student handbooks, employee handbooks, anything that we provide to parents and students and staff that address every bit of their experience as an employee, as a parent, or as a student. Our web notices on the district web pages, our non-discrimination statements, which we have in job postings and in our application process on my end, and I know we have probably in food service, child nutrition and all those areas. It is the district's responsibility to notify students, families, and employees of our commitment to non-discrimination under Title IX. Information about who the Title IX coordinator is, which we'll put on the website, we'll publish in our materials, and then how to report concerns and complaints. So for tonight, what that means for you is we're going to do a first and second reading of 3 policies that we currently have in place that we will amend, which is sex-based discrimination is prohibited, restraint, isolation, and other uses of reasonable force, and that Title I, Part A, the parent involvement and family engagement. And then we're adopting 3 new ones, 3206 and the procedure, pregnant and parenting students, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment of district staff. And then parental, family, or marital status and pregnancy or related conditions of staff. So those will be in this tonight's board meeting packet for you guys to approve. And they are part of the WASDA model recommendations that we adopted. And then for us, being everybody on the other side of the board, training all staff, we're going to have to manage 2 Title IX regulatory schemes side by side forever. The new rules that have just come on board are effective for any claims after October or August 1st. So if we have something that somebody makes a claim about that occurred in June or July, you know, in the previous year, we'll use the previous regulatory scheme. So that is going to be something that I think will be great as a team of 3, be able to really collaborate on, because it's going to be a big lift. It would be a big lift for one person to do. But to do revisions of all our handbooks, updates to the different website and our statements. And then just some resources if you want to dive into it further.
Any questions from the board? This is a lot.
Yeah,
I realize
I actually
that.
do have a question. Is this the training going to be available, or is it mandatory for volunteers, parent volunteers that come into the school?
I'd have to look into if it's required for them. Right now, we don't have a training program for, you know, parents who come in and volunteer on an occasional basis. We have more regular volunteers, then yes, we provide them more.
Any other questions? from the board?
Good.
Admin team, any other thoughts, ideas, feedback from today as staff went through this training?
So for the community, I know watching the news across the country, and some areas, some of this is like huge stuff. And so how much communication is this going to be out to the community to really see what the changes even are in school?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously policy and procedure around it. Are you talking politically or are you talking?
I guess in the world we live in.
Yeah.
politically.
So I reached out to a couple of neighbors and some people in Oregon just to see what's being communicated out. Like, how do we get a common message out that we stay neutral, we respond to the guidance from, right, the federal guidance, and then you know, our legal guidance. So I think more to come on that, because I think there's going to be something like, there's going to have to be some reminders, because this fall could get a little bit, you know, a little bit interesting with the political climate that we're in. But it's really important, in my opinion, and I won't speak for the board, but that we stay incredibly neutral, just serve our kids and families, and the work that we're here to do. Board, anything on that?
Just follow up. I'd just like to find out exactly what those changes are. What that looks like within the school district.
And we're adopting the WASDA policies as written, as legally vetted, and no extra, no less, but no extra, which is also the best course of action, I think.
Also, just for, I think as an admin, 'cause I've been through a little bit of training, like scenario type training, but just to really go through what the procedures are to decide whether it's discipline or whether it's harassment, and then how to document that, or like it's put in Skyward and just going through the paperwork. I mean, we deal with this luckily infrequently, but
Yeah.
when you do have it, you're like, you know, so that remember making sure you
Right, doing all the things.
do all the right things. So
And-
just to go through some practice. So.
Even in preparation for today, as we reached out to many districts, everybody's waiting. They're kind of like, "Oh, do you have anything? No, do you have anything?" You know, and so, and you know, like even reached out to our previous system, and they're like, "Oh no, but if you create something, please send it our way after you're done," that kind of thing. And so I think it's important for us to continue to to create those scenarios and what's the legal interpretation around those things. So as we have questions, we may have to consult legal on some of them on the new, and until there's some case law around this, we probably won't know completely the guidance, but I think you're right. And we should probably as we come together as an administrative team monthly, like what's cooking out there? Like, what do we have? How do we handle it? What's the next best step? So that we can make sure that we're filtering things correctly through the new policy, but as it's intended to be interpreted. There was not one. Mhm. Yeah, it was silent on that. Yeah. And we are, that is absolutely exactly as WASDA has written it. We left it just as is. Any other questions? With this? I don't know. That's, once it's in policy, then we can move on that. So we'll try to get that to you as soon as we can. Yeah, sorry. I was just looking at
Oh,
that.
no.
Yeah, so today's a big one, so we get this adopted and then we can now put it into our handbooks and move forward. I think we're good.
I think so. Any questions from you guys? No?
I think we've got what we can get so far.
Okay. Excellent. Well, then we will adjourn our study session at 5:17, 18. We will return at, yep,
Thank you, Dan.
blind as a bat. We will return at 6 PM for our regular board meeting. The time is now 6 PM. Welcome to this meeting of the Granite Falls School Board. Before we get started, I would like to make a motion to excuse Director Ledoux from tonight's meeting.
I would like to second.
Okay, a motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on, I'd like you all to stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to pass it to Dana to read our landing acknowledgements.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, it's coming up. Do you have anything? One moment. Right, we honor the first peoples of these lands by acknowledging that the area in which we gather is within the traditional territory of the Stillaguamish tribe of Indians. The Stillaguamish peoples have inhabited these lands and waters since time immemorial, and their descendants have remained in this territory to this day. The Stillaguamish people have continued to practice the traditional ways of their ancestors, fishing, hunting, and gathering. The Stillaguamish tribe has had these lands and cultural traditions passed on to them by their ancestors, who believe that everything has a spirit and that they are the caretakers of these lands and waters.
Thank you. In attendance this evening, we have Director Gawker, Director Dane, Director Carey, myself, Director Kincaid, our Superintendent Dan Kiesler, and Rachel is here today taking notes for us. Thank you, Rachel. Moving on to item number 3A, board self-evaluation.
I will be sending out the self-evaluation. I'll be opening up the window for that.
Okay.
We talked about it a little bit at the board retreat, and I have to give WASDA the permission to open up the window, then you all will go in, but I'll send you an email to guide you through that with the link.
Okay. Sounds good. Any questions or?
Yeah, I know we tried to do one last time, Dana, and we had like a couple of like, oh, because you put in like a keyword or something like that, and we had some trouble figuring out, well, we only have like 4, who's the 5th person, and then you forget your keyword. Maybe like we can like assign or like have some other like where you maybe just so that way if you've got only 4, who that 5th person is or something along those lines, just so that we don't, I think you were here, Bill, didn't we have to do it like
Yes.
2 or 3 times last time?
At least.
Yeah, so at least
Okay,
that way
good to
we're
know.
clear on who's done it and clear who hasn't, because I know it's a pretty big thing that we want to make sure that we get through and done.
Okay, I'll work with lots on that.
All right. Moving on to item 4A, business report prepared by Marshall Cruz.
Nothing too exciting. On track for the preschool move and just kind of open for any questions.
I'm still trying to log into my computer here.
How are we on our enrollment projections?
We are tracking a little bit ahead of projections right now, but it's that first couple days of school is always the unknown of, we know the kids that are actively enrolling. Sometimes we don't know the kids that have moved away and not told us until the first couple days of school. But our kindergarten class is small. It's at about 137 right now. We were expecting about 160, but we stayed nimble and we were able to respond to that.
Are we still holding open some positions, not filling them, to make sure that we aren't overstaffed?
Yeah, we're posting for a elementary teacher to go out there tomorrow to address some high class sizes there. And then we look really good everywhere else. That's we have to meet K3 class size compliance, so
Okay,
we have to reduce our third grade class count a little bit.
got it. Can you remind me, when is the bond for the high school dropping off?
It drops off in December. So I think December is our last payment for that bond.
Do you know how much is dropping off per thousand?
Oh, I think it's somewhere around $2 or $3 per thousand, $2 per thousand maybe. It's over half of our total bond obligation is dropping off.
Got it. That's good news. Taxes will go down a little bit then. Okay. I saw the financials and didn't really have any questions, but I mean, anything of note that you think we should talk about or things you're worried about or I used to ask you things that keep you up at night.
Yeah, I mean, the cost of changing the way we operate with administrators cost us quite a bit of money this spring. Vacation payouts, sick pay payouts, all that stuff. When somebody leaves the district, costs us a lot of money. So that is kind of keeping me up at night. We have a positive fund balance right now, and it's going to grow for the rest of backwardly into August because we have a lot of revenue that comes in September that will post back to August. So we're on track to grow our fund balance significantly this year, probably to $1 million. It's my guess. We have about a $400,000 cost for the staff that have left this year.
Is there anything you need us to board to advocate for that we aren't already doing as far as?
I think that as an admin team, we've agreed to some changes in the way all that stuff works going forward, that there won't be that risk anymore.
Okay.
And then we kind of talked about it going into before the meeting. Last night, there was that Snohomish County impact fees decision that I mentioned impact fees all over the report. That's our kind of hope for meeting the growth needs of Granite Falls to be helped with impact fees. But the Snohomish County Planning Commission voted to not recommend impact fees for Snohomish County at all. So that happened last night.
So what's the next step? It goes to the planning, it goes to the full Snohomish County Commission and stuff.
Yeah, they'll go to the full Snohomish County Commission, but it'll go without a recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Yeah.
And the people who voted no in the Planning Commission can go and then also speak to the county council and voice their opinion as to why they voted no.
And I remember hearing about that. I mean, I guess I'm confused because I know that we're asking for what, $6,000 total for like a $700,000-800,000 house or something. So,
Yeah.
And then combined with the fact that people are property taxes are going to go down. I guess and maybe I'm just naive. I guess I didn't know the impact fees were controversial, right? Because, I mean, at best, we're talking millions of dollars when it costs hundreds of $1 million to build a building or something. So if anything, it just kind of makes the pain of accommodating new students less. So I guess I'm confused at why the planning commission would be against that. So I'm certainly planning to reach out to our local representatives on the Snohomish County Council and try to advocate. And I guess I would say to anyone listening to this to reach out to your to our representative on the council and advocate as well. I mean, it makes sense. Growth, there's a planning saying growth pays for growth. And so, as people move into the area, into a new house who, haven't been paying taxes and stuff, and obviously we very rightfully so bring their students in and educate them and do all the great things that we do, that has a cost, right? Where there's a significant amount of population that we can accommodate, and so we have to grow. And it's not necessarily fair to ask someone, across the street, hey, I need you to pay for that, right? Growth pays for growth. So I don't really, again, maybe I'm naive. I don't see how that's a controversial statement. It's kind of the way things are done. It's done with sewer systems, right? You build a sewer system. So you built a sewer system, right? People attach later on to the sewer system, they pay late cover income tax fees. Hey, this was bought by these people. You need to offset those costs. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. So I'll certainly reach out to them and advocate on our behalf. And I encourage everyone to try to do that as well.
And we'll be doing that as a superintendent group of all the districts that are impacted. I'm sorry, Marshall, was it 12 districts that were impacted?
Yeah, it's 11 or 12.
Okay. And so we're coordinating that for next week and have some times that we will be doing that. And then I'm working with WASA as well to work the legislative angle there as well, so they can know how we feel about that.
Thanks.
And really, it impacted the 11 or 12 just because those districts were up for either asking for it for the first time or up for renewal. We have to go to the council every 2 years for renewal if we've been doing it for a while. So, like a lot of these districts have been collecting impact fees and have been planning their growth based on, it feels like, I don't want to say a rubber stamp, but it just feels like that it was a very supportive place for schools is getting impact fees from developers. But this change impacts not only Granite Falls is going out to try and get impact fees for the first time, but a lot of the districts that are impacted are districts that have been collecting impact fees for years because of their growth, and they've planned their whole cycle of how they're going to meet the growth needs of their community based on a portion of that being from impact fees. So it was a shock to a lot of people today.
That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Marshall. Moving on to 4B, superintendent report presented by Dana.
All right, Dan's going to bring this up and then we'll go from there. Thank you. All right, we'll work through this. There's a few minutes here. There'll be the video also, so this will take a little bit longer than usual. You have to navigate from there. First of all, I would like to present our new certificated staff. They are all here and we celebrated them at our School of Rock, which the first day was today. Several new certificated staff members here, and this will be included in the board packet so you can take a look at it. But the areas that they're teaching in, and again, this is just the certificated side of the house. So we're excited to have them all and welcome them all. And then this morning, we opened with We opened with a little musical number. And then we moved on, the whole premise was, of course, that the School of Rock and the misunderstanding that we thought it was a rock show. So then we moved on to, of course, the professional development side of it. So this is the video that we showed to staff. There'll be a video that's a smidge different than this that we're going to put up on the website that just tells our community kind of the same information, but it's for that community. And so Dan, if you could hit play, that would be great.
We are Granite.
We are Granite. We are Granite, baby.
We are Granite. We are Granite.
Hello, Granite Falls staff. Welcome back and welcome to our time together at School of Rock. I am thrilled to be your new superintendent. As we embark on this new school year, I want to express my excitement about the opportunities that lie ahead for our students, staff, and community. I firmly believe that every child can learn and thrive when given the right support. Our schools play a crucial role in providing that support, and I'm committed to creating a learning environment where all students and families feel valued, respected, and empowered. Adults in our school system are the most powerful conduit for change and growth for our children. Their dedication, passion, and expertise are essential to ensuring every student reaches their full potential. I'm excited to work alongside our incredible teachers, staff, and administrators to create a positive and nurturing learning environment.
I absolutely 100% believe all kids can learn.
I believe every student can learn.
All kids have the ability to learn.
I believe that all kids can learn.
I also believe that all kids can learn at high levels.
They have the potential to learn.
I believe that all kids are learners. I believe that kids are excited for school.
We as adults should give them our 100% effort every day in the classrooms.
I believe that every kid has their own story, and it's upon us as educators to get to know their story and meet them where they're at.
I believe kids in our community are crazy resilient. They are happy. They are vibrant.
I believe every kid should be allotted the time to dream.
I believe all kids are amazing.
I believe that kids are fantastic.
I believe kids are way more advanced than we were when we were kids.
I believe kids are resilient and can do anything they set their minds to.
Every child can do amazing things.
I think it's such a joy to be able to teach, to be able to see them work through topics and work through new skills, and to see them understand new things.
I believe that all kids need to know that they matter. Having adults in their life that let them know they matter makes them better people.
They're the future, and they're the greatest gift we have.
Every student that we get in our district is a gift to us, and that they're entrusted into our care, and we need to do the best that we can with them every single day.
Everybody's excited, the newness, and everybody's positive, and I hope we can carry that through the rest of the year.
Kids are excited, teachers are excited, parents are excited that kids are back in school.
The start of school is my favorite time of year. Right now it just feels like I work in an office. When school starts, that energy, that feeling, seeing the apprehension and seeing them get comfortable and feeling confident of being in their classrooms and getting back into a routine is my favorite time of the year. So that's what's special.
Seeing their energy and excitement to come together to make their school a safe and engaging, full of belongingness.
The start of school is amazing. The energy that comes from the students, the staff, parents in the community is contagious.
What I think is special about the start of school is the excitement. There's just a lot of happiness. There's a lot of joy for students to have a new start and a new opportunity, and that translates into everything that we do.
The start of school, there's always this feeling of hope and excitement around this upcoming school year, and that's my favorite.
When school starts, the streets get active, kids are walking around everywhere, and there's just so much energy in the community, and it's just an awesome feeling.
There's just magic in the air when we think about the start of school.
It is anxiety, dread, excitement, the smell of new paper and things. It's one big feeling.
I love fall. I love football games. I love everything that comes with start of the school.
Best best part of my work is the kids that I get to see every day.
100% working with the students and families.
Working with the students.
Working with kiddos. That is why I do this. That is why I come to work every single day.
Working with students, families, and staff, of course, favorite thing.
Being able to teach kids how to work with their hands. So in manufacturing, getting to teach them hands-on applicable skills, getting them up and moving, building, creating. It's a real joy to be able to share with a new generation what it's like to be able to create things with their hands.
It's my mission to help, each and every kid feel special at school.
The best part of my work in Granite Falls School District is getting to connect displaced students and families with resources, both in school and in our community.
I love working with the staff at Mountain Way. The staff goes above and beyond to make sure that all kids have everything that they need. They redo what's best for kids' mindset, and they show that every single day.
The child nutrition team, I just love working with them, and I'm excited for another year to work with them. The best part of my work in the Granite Falls School District is working with all this amazing staff who are really here to support kids, and I'm so excited to meet all of our students.
The best part of my work is supporting our teachers and our staff. When they are supported, they can do their jobs most effectively, and it all trickles down to the students that we serve.
Getting to see kids that maybe are now parents of kids, although it makes me feel old, I love being able to have that tie and connection with our community.
Everything about Granite Falls school community is the reason why I want to work here.
I love the tight-knit community feeling within our schools and our community, and that's why I chose to move to Granite Falls.
I fell in love with the community, fell in love with the students, and 21 years later, I'm still loving it here.
I don't think I chose to be a part of the school community. I think they chose me. I fell in love when the first day I got here, seeing the students in the band at the middle school, walking down the street practicing, and I'm still in love with the Granite Falls school community.
I chose to be part of the Granite Falls School District and community because watching the community of Granite Falls wrap around the students and families in this district is incredible. From the back to school event to the toy and gift drive, it's incredible to see.
When I was applying, I was looking for a district that believed in kids, that believed in doing what's best for kids.
I love small communities. I love places that are really kind of a focal point.
In a small community, the school is the hub, the district is the hub of the community, and I really enjoy that, and it establishes really strong relationships and support for our school district and for our students.
I grew up here, went through the school system, graduated here, and I keep coming back here. I've been here for 25 years now in this position.
I've always been a part of the Granite Falls community. I went to school here. I have chosen to stay here, to build my career here. This is a really special place that I love, and it's always been the place that we want to be.
I've always been a part of Granite Falls Schools and community. I grew up here. I graduated from high school here. I got to return here after gaining some experience in other districts, and my kids will be graduating from here in a couple of years now.
I lived here, and when a position came up that I knew I could do, I chose to be here and serve the community where I live, and be able to be, close to my family and my kids.
The teachers that were here when I was a student in Granite Falls are the reason why I believe that I'm still alive today.
We are Granite.
We are Granite.
We are Granite.
We are Granite.
We are Granite. Our school district is a special place. I am impressed by our community's unwavering support for our students and the commitment to providing them with the best possible education. Your love and dedication to our children will be invaluable as we work together to create a bright future for Granite Falls. I look forward to meeting you all and working together to make this the best school year yet.
We are Granite.
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 We are Granite. So that was what we started off with. And then we went into, I just have a few slides to kind of illustrate this, but we went into
the work that we'll be doing this year, along with, finding student voice and a focus on, core and the things that we talked about at the board retreat. But the biggest thing that we talked about today was focusing on adult-student relationships. The research is very, very clear. Some people will talk about teacher-student relationships, and that is the key component, but it is really expanded to adult-student relationships, and we know how critical it is for kids to have an adult in their life. It often is their parents, but often it's others as well that fill in a critical role. And so we grounded ourselves, in some research, in some quotes from some powerful individuals, including Rita Pearson. Most of you have probably seen her TED Talk, but those adult-student relationships and outcomes are undeniable. Whoops, next one. Yeah. Some of the research is around perceptions, and when kids perceive that they are cared about and that adults believe in them, the research is very clear on the outcomes and student outcomes as a result. The last thing that we, on the adult-student relationships, we really talked about that possibly adult-student relationships are the secret sauce. And we will continue to work on that, especially post-COVID. Establishing those relationships with our kids is and the mindset around what we believe about kids. You heard a lot of people talk about what they believe about kids. We worked on that a little bit, and that'll be a consistent focus for us as we work through this year. All right. The next thing I wanted to update you on is exciting. I don't know if any of you were able to see the Granite Falls High School shop a few months ago when I did my walkthrough, when I was the superintendent candidate. I spent some time in the Granite Falls High School shop, and it had a lot of concerns. It was incredibly messy. It was unusable. And you couldn't have had students in there for a class because it would have been unsafe. It is cleaned up now. I can't say enough. I wish I had some before pictures because it would kind of be like that whole thing on like one of those shows, right? This is incredible. And our tech team and JBJ went in and really did the work. We went in the spring, went in again a few times. I think it was in June when we were over there and had things marked of like, I don't care what system you use, red, yellow, green, but stuff's got to go. And here we go, because we're going to have kids in here. That was the other piece I talked about extensively with the board was we want kids in that incredible space. You heard JBJ talk about on the video, kids working with their hands, and those are some CT courses. So we do have one class up at Granite Falls High School this year, and we will continue to grow that. We thought it was also important to grow it in the sense of this year's intro to construction, and then next year we'll have intro to construction, and then the second year construction, because you have to have intro before you can do some of the other things, right? So I'm underselling how significant this cleanup is. It looks amazing, and that is a totally safe space for kids. So I'm very excited about that. And thank you, tech team, for the cleanup that they did as well in the lab and things. And then the upcoming district and community events. So School of Rock, like we talked about, today, tomorrow, and the 3rd of September. Some other pieces along with, welcoming people back and excited about all that we have coming up. One area that we knew we had to really spend some time on today was TPEP, which is our evaluation system for our certificated teachers, and student growth goal updates. Emily, Rachel, and the team put significant work into this. Per this OSPI bulletin and new legislation, these revised student growth goals are required in all teachers' evaluations in the 24-25 school year, and most districts onboarded that in the last 18 months, and this is new for our teachers. So we're doing a fast ramp on this, and our teachers have been great, and our administrators have been great, and we'll make it happen. And then the other thing, the piece that was that's happening today and tomorrow is a discipline update per the GFEA CBA. Sorry about all the acronyms. We have a discipline update every year, and that's to make sure that we're on the same page with what discipline looks like and how we follow our rubric and the things that we do, and staying current with new legislation and the updates from OSPI. So that's good stuff. Fall sports began at Granite Falls High School, and they'll begin in the middle school after school is back in session. Those are some key dates coming up. probably the first one is football. Next Friday, a week from this Friday, we have a home football game. And then looks like a home soccer game the next morning, and then a home volleyball game, and then a big cross-country invitational on in October that we host. First day of school coming up next week, so super excited about that. I'll be rescheduling. Looks like Paris scheduled a couple of one-on-one board meetings with you all. We're not going to be doing those on the first day of school because I do have some commitments. I will be helping with an event at Granite Falls High School. I'll be riding a bus a couple of those days with some of our students and seeing start to finish and how that looks. I really love bus rides. It makes me a little weird. I realize that, but there's something really cool about seeing a kid's whole interaction, right? From the minute they get on the bus to the minute they get off the bus. So we're excited about the first days of school and preschool. As Marshall said, it's going to be downstairs. And then lastly, Railroad Days are coming up October 5th. There is a planning meeting on September 12th at 4 o'clock. I have our high school principal attending that because there's an ask to have, I think it's choir and band and maybe cheer all there, and then some floats and different things. I do want to give a huge shout out to our band and our cheerleaders who were there this morning and greeted all of our staff as they came in. And it was early, friends. It was early. They got there at 7. Yeah, like a little after 7. Yeah, it was early, and they were there with smiles on their face and pom-poms in their hands, and sideline dance is happening. So I was a parent to a cheerleader, so I know the asks, and they're asked to go to lots of events, but it was really special to have I was thinking of the band playing at 7:15 and we forgot to tell the neighbors, but it's all good. If we get some complaints, I'll be like, I'm so sorry. Our kids are just doing what they do, right? So people were greeted to the cheer, the band administrators greeting them as they came in the door, and today was a big day. I think that is it for my update. Oh, I do have one last piece. I will be going around to area businesses. I might have shamelessly conned one of my family members into creating these for us for free. But that's what you do, right? So these are, they're on cardstock. We'll be printing them off here, but it's just, we won't be asking for money. We'll just be going around to area businesses and asking if they'll put these in their windows as supporters of our district. And I'll have a nice letter that goes with it, introducing who I am and how we can interface in those kind of things. But building some community support and getting the word out there that we are present, we are here, and we are ready to work with our community to support our kids.
Yeah. Any comments or questions for Dana? No. All right. Thank you, Dana. Sure. Moving on to item 4C, board reports. And I also realized that we didn't put in board comments. So in this time, if you'd like to throw those in there as well. So no WIAA today because Peter is gone. So move on to legislative report.
Yeah, so obviously, we are still at the beginning of the upcoming ledge session. I have a WASDA ledge rep committee meeting October 11th and 12th in Olympia to go over the legislative priorities for WASDA. And for anyone that doesn't know, WASDA is the state kind of school board organization that advocates not only for Granite, obviously for all school districts, but also for Granite Falls to our representatives in the legislature. So we're going to fine tune those so that we can hit the ground running for this upcoming session. One thing that I will include in the discussion is this impact fee challenge that we're having. While that's more of a community thing, there's potentially maybe something at the state level that we need to have that really enshrines our ability to, as a district, to collect impact fees. There's already a tall mountain for us to climb. We have to basically wait until we have till we're at capacity or forecast to be at capacity to be able to start changing impact fee to charging impact fees. So if with that waiting and having to get there and then also to have these challenges, I struggle to think how that's best for kids. And as I love for your video, I mean, we have to be all about kids. So I will make a commitment to the board to include that in the discussion in my October meeting. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot going on. It's challenging to get a hold of a lot of lawmakers right now because most of them are politicking, which you would think would mean that they're easier to get a hold of, but unfortunately, they're usually out and doing stuff. So that's really all I've got, unless you guys have any questions.
Dr. Day, do you have any board comments?
Oh, yeah. So this has been a really busy month for the community. I got to participate in the National Night Out, and our staff were there greeting the community. And it was a great turnout. And not too long after that, it was 2 weeks after that, the Community Coalition put on the backpack handout, give out school supplies at Mountain Way, and an incredible turnout. It was overwhelming. We participated last year as the fire department. We participated this year, but being able to be there and see the impact that Community Coalition had working as a team with the school district and a lot of other organizations that came out to support the families in our area. In the end, last Sunday, I went over and I got to sit with Superintendent Gleason at the farmer's market here in town, where she spent time with a spinning wheel and little prizes, talking to community members, taking notes, listening to people's concerns, people's suggestions, offerings, and literally writing down, taking their name, their phone numbers, committing to responding back to them. It was just great. And then I went and participated this morning and got to see our superintendent and Emily put on a little music show, which I think the staff really loved. And then just got to see all of our teachers participating in this event today, and it was exciting. It was exciting to see, how much support the community gives our school district, and then having to look at our employees and see how much energy they had. And Dan is right, the band and the cheerleaders, they brought it in. You couldn't walk past that and not feel good about what was happening on the inside. So hats off to our community and our school district.
It's great to have you there today. Thank you.
Eric?
I was able to attend the National Night Out, and it was fantastic seeing the school board or the school district representing out there. Was able to meet a handful of the community members and the teachers, introduce myself. So that was a good time. My kids loved it. They appreciate the hot dogs. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
I just have a comment saying my thoughts are with all the teachers and staff who are getting ready for next week. I know what they're going through because I'm going through it myself, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and teachers in their classrooms and just doing all the last minute things, getting those last minute things printed out and cut out and glued on, and all those things. So just thoughts are out to them, and I hope that everyone has an awesome first day of school next week. Moving to item 5A, items from the floor. I don't believe we have any. Okay. And no unfinished business. So that moves on to item number 7A under new business. Resolution number 2425-01, inter-district cooperative agreements with other school districts.
These first two resolutions are just, we do them every year. They allow us to partner with other districts and piggyback on them with things, and it also allows us to participate in cooperatives with other organizations. They're just, we do them every year. The first two resolutions every year.
Okay. Any questions or comments on that?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
If I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2425-01, interdistrict cooperative agreements with other school districts.
The motion has been made. Is there a second? Okay, motion is made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on to 7B, resolution number 2425-02, intergovernmental cooperative agreements with other school districts.
I'm gonna say it right this time because Dana, I heard her cringe. I move that we accept resolution number 2425-02, intergovernmental cooperative agreements with other school districts.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 7C, Open Governments Training Act.
Didn't know what this was.
Yeah, this is, Paris put this on here and I'm pretty certain she is out of the country, but I'm pretty certain it's a reminder if there's anyone on the board or superintendent who hasn't completed the Open Governments Training Act, it is required by RCW. So if you need any assistance.
Is it once? Because I've done it once or
I believe
twice.
it's once. I have it pulled up here. I believe it's only once it's within the first 90 days.
Yeah.
If I find something other than that, that's what I understood to be true. So Eric, if you haven't been able to do it or need any assistance, let me know. Happy to help.
It's just a video.
Very exciting.
So no motion.
No motion for that one.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to 7D, the first and second reading to amend policy 2410, 2410P, high school graduation requirements.
So just a question, I'm assuming that all the rest of these are WASD updates, and the reason we're doing the first and the second is we need to get them going for the upcoming school year.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially the ones that have Title IX strands to them. We want to get those into our handbooks, as we talked about in our study session, and any other applicable places. That's why the rush to get them through first and second.
Okay.
Is there any comment or question?
Okay, I move that we accept the first and second reading to amend policy 2410, 2410P, high school graduation requirements.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 7E, first and second reading to amend policy 320 S320 SP1-P2, sex-based discrimination prohibited.
I move that we accept the first and second reading to amend policy, is it S 3205? 3205 P1.
Oh, maybe it's a
P2, sex-based discrimination prohibited. I'm
Think
staring, I
glasses.
can't tell if that's an S.
I
or a
need my
five.
glasses.
Item 7E, as placed on the agenda. How about that?
There you go. Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to 7F, first and second reading to adopt policy 3206, 3206P, pregnant and parenting students.
I move that we accept the first and second reading to adopt policy 3206, 3206P, pregnant and parenting students.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the first and second reading to amend policy 3246-3246P, restraint, isolation, and other uses of reasonable force.
Can we just have a quick discussion? Because
Sure.
this has come up a couple of times, I know, on the board and stuff like that. So all of the changes on this are based upon WASDA and stuff like that, right? I always, I'm going to channel a little Robert here. I always get a little, I don't know, it feels a little weird when we talk about restraint or isolation, reasonable force of students and stuff. It always kind of bristled me a little bit, and I know it is what it is, and there's really good, we've got a good procedure here, but Dana, I guess, just help me feel better, right? Like, I mean, this is.
Yes,
This-
the updates are because of the Title IX updates. So we've had updates to this policy and procedure recently because there's been lots of talk in the news and those kind of things. So this is the Title IX updates that are recommended by WASDA.
Got it. And we remind me, we as a board, don't we get reports based on uses of when we've done that? When does that come out? I actually forget.
We turn it into, at the end of the year, into OSPI. And so I'll check on and see when you got it last. I don't have a reference point on that. It should have come to you in the spring. I don't know if it did or not, but we can pull that from OSPI. That's reported every year. on how much restraint and isolation. And then there's also generally a report, there's a public report out from the state.
But as a general, and maybe this is even better for our wonderful SPED director that here, we aren't locking kids in padded rooms. We aren't,
No.
And I know that you're a huge advocate of this, Rachel, so feel free to pontificate, but it just, I don't know, it just always makes you feel like, oh, like, we're here for the kids, right? I don't want to, feel like we are restraining a kid that doesn't need restraint, isolating a kid that doesn't need isolation, right? That we're looking at, are we doing these things equitably? How are we doing this? Only people are responsible. Just help me feel a little bit better.
So in response to Dana, she's correct. So the restraint and isolation, the updates before this basically removed them, right? I mean, they're literally crossed out in the policy. The exception would be really around that safety piece, right? We all have an obligation. So you have a kinder, right, who is eloping, running away, and you have to essentially, right, put hands on to get them into safety. And that would be the same out in a public setting. I would say for me at the secondary level, having been there for 2 years, we don't do it, right? It's just not okay. We put our staff at risk anytime that we're asking them to put hands on a student. We put the students at risk. It's just not a good scenario for anybody. And frankly, some of our middle schoolers and high schools are bigger than us. We're not going to be able to do that, to keep them safe, absolutely. But as far as restraining and isolating, no, we would evacuate a classroom, we would do other things. So for example, I can speak to the middle school data, we had 0 restraint and isolations last year, and we had 1, I guess, exclusion, right? We had to evacuate 1 classroom last year.
Yeah.
And they were back within 5 minutes.
Yeah. And I'm definitely channeling Robert because he always read this, but I agree with him. So there's a sense there's still in this policy, serious harm includes physical harm to self, another, or district property.
The district property piece, and I don't, and see if Dana echoes this, things are replaceable, people are not.
That's where I was.
So it's never going to be something that will never be a reason. It's just, I would have a hard time. We would have to do a debrief, and that's part of the process as well, right? I get those reports. I'm meeting with Rico, who does Penangus, who does our safety care, and we're really needing some better support around debriefs when we have an escalation, especially at our younger grades, and giving our para educators as well the time to debrief with staff. Because right now the challenge is finding the time. We have a lot of para educators that are supporting students sometimes in that way, who are struggling to regulate, and then they get on bus routes because that's required to get kids home safely, and then we're not having that time to debrief. So that'll be part of the conversation and the process move, so that we are having those discussions, whether it's a monthly meeting or Liz supporting that work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't want a situation where a kid is, slams a Chromebook down or something, not trying to hurt anyone else. And we're like, oh, we had to restrain him because he broke district property. Or it's like, I don't care about it. I mean, I care, but I don't care, right? Let's not do that to that kid because he broke district property, so to speak.
And I've never been in a district, small, Darrington, large, Marysville, that wasn't the case. And in other words, that we would never, right, like put hands on because we were worried about computers are replaceable, right? Those things are replaceable, people are not, especially our kiddos.
Okay.
And the trauma that's caused, right? I mean, as a result, for the adults and the student, right? I think I've been tagged, I've never had to actually be a part of twice, and it sits with you. It's not okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, it's doing more damage than good. And if we can put some proactive steps in place so that we're de-escalating prior, we should really never have to go there.
Good. I think I've told this story a couple of times, so forgive me if you've heard it before, but I went to elementary school when you would be paddled in class, like if you did something wrong, and then they would sit you outside in the hallway on the paddle chair, right? And I vividly remember being paddled in front of all my friends and family and sitting there and having classes people walk past me to lunch, right? And sitting, everyone knows why I'm sitting there, right? I mean, this is like literally one of my earliest memories is that. So, I mean, there's a lot of trauma related to putting hands on, like doing these types of kids. I mean, I think I'm a semi well-adjusted adult, but it's in there, man.
Still remember.
It's tough, right? So, just advocating for the small Carl that we have in these districts, right? That's a big deal. We don't want to scar them for the rest of their lives.
There's
stuff like
lots
that.
of small Carls that are
Yes.
probably coming in already scarred, right? And why would we ever re-traumatize them?
Yeah.
It's just not okay, right? We are not a prison.
Mhm.
We are practice. We are teaching expectations. We are a place of safety and support.
What are
Thank
we,
you for saying that.
what are we doing on the opposite side of that? Because my concern is kind of the whole reason why I'm in this chair to begin with was years ago, my daughter's class had a student who had behavior issues and we're gonna evacuate the class. We're not gonna put hands on him. Their classroom was evacuated every single day from September until March, until they had a plan for that child. And it was traumatizing for my daughter who was in kindergarten. So how are we protecting those kids?
I think there's lots of pieces, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know the kids' individual needs, but I think having processes in place, you shouldn't have to wait 3-4 months, right? Clearly something isn't working. After the third time you're evacuating the classroom, something isn't working.
Yeah.
We need another plan.
Yeah.
And that's a team meeting. I said it today. We spoke at School of Rock. Our educators are gonna hear me say quite often, we need to pull a team meeting, right? Concerns will come across via email. They really shouldn't be, but hey, we need a better plan to support this kiddo. And if that means that he has a more restrictive environment, then maybe we do that for a while with the goal of him being back and having access to that gen ed.
And everyone's missing out on construction at that point,
Yeah.
right? And something's not working.
Yeah.
So that has to be addressed. I would also say, coming back to Carl's point, just a smidge, but Washington State has really firmed up definitions around restraint and isolation and what they are and what they aren't. And, you know, what you're describing being in the hall or out on the bench is
Pillow bench.
is isolation, right? And that is missed instructional time. So we do monitor that and keep track of that. So even sending kids out of class. So if I send a kiddo out of class and they're standing outside, that is loss of instructional time. That counts as isolation. So I think that they have done a nice job of defining that and having kids not miss out because it's important.
And Rachel, if I'm quoting you incorrectly, tell me, but you said something once that I thought was really pivotal. It's like, you know, those types of outbursts are kind of a failure of the system. Like there should be a plan in place for those students so that things don't escalate to the point where you're needing to. So correct me if I'm wrong, that's the secret sauce, is making sure that we identify that we have relationships with those students so that things don't get to the way that Carly was talking about. Because I remember before Carly was even on the board, I remember her talking to the board about the
Well, I
issues that
emailed
she
you
had
several times.
with students and stuff like that. So, you know, we, and I know that that's a passion of you too, and to channel Lil Dana, you know, kids are never the problem, right? Kids are never the problem, you know, I believe that wholeheartedly. So anyway, thank you for letting me get on my soapbox for that.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve the first and second reading to amend policy 3246, 3246P, restraint, isolation, and other uses of reasonable force.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is first and second reading to amend policy 3432 emergencies.
I make a motion to approve the first and second reading to amend policy 3432 emergencies.
I just have a quick comment because I just got an email from WASDA saying that this is going to be new. They're going to send out a new one on emergencies in like a week. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
get that email.
I was just looking at where'd it go? Yeah, a new model policy related to emergency rules is coming soon. Tuesday, September 3rd. We'll receive that.
Well, I guess we can, I know I've already got a motion on the floor, so do you want me to
Okay.
rescind it, or do you want to, I guess we can see if there's a first or second, or I don't.
Well, I guess we can, if we approve it now, we can
Amend it later.
amend it later. Yeah. Okay.
It
So,
sounds like these are important to get it in. So
yeah.
I
Okay.
guess you can see if there's a second. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are on 7I, first and second reading to amend policy 4130-4130P, Title I, Part A, parent involvement and family engagement.
So I'll ask this, any discussion? Okay, I make a motion to, first and second, not stepping on your toes.
No,
but
no,
just
no.
making sure that we can, first, second reading to, I move that we approve the first and second reading to amend policy 4130, 4130P, Title I, Part A, parent involvement and family engagement. Thank you for the reminder.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7J, first and second reading to adopt policy 5011-5011P, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment of district staff prohibited.
I move to accept the first and second reading to adopt policy 5011-5011P, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment of district staff prohibited.
There's a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 7K, the first and second reading to adopt policy 5012-5012P, parental, family, or marital status and pregnancy or related conditions to staff. Any discussion?
I move that we accept the first and second reading to adopt policy 5012-5012P, parental, family, or marital status and pregnancy or related conditions of staff.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
7L, the first and second reading to amend policies 6220, 6220P, bids or requests for proposal requirements. Any discussion?
Okay, I move that we accept the first and second reading to amend policy 6220, 6220P, bids or requests for proposal requirements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And last but not least, 7M, first and second reading to adopt policy 6690, contracting for transportation services. Discussion.
Okay, I move we accept the first and second reading to adopt policy 6690, contracting for transportation services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 8, the consent agenda. It looks like any additions were already put in, so there should be no additions. Any discussion?
There are additions in the HR report.
Oh.
It is one resignation and I apologize. There's two resignations and a few, two new hires.
Okay.
Do we
That's
all-
all, you should have this, is it this one?
Yes, that is the new one.
Oh, this is the new one.
We don't have it.
I think it's in board docs.
Oh,
I apologize. We don't have Paris here, so we are
here's this one.
running a
You guys
little
I think
wanna
this is,
see
I think this is the same one in board docs. So I'm
Carl.
gonna pull that.
that one.
Oh, this is the addition. Okay, I get what you're saying.
These were the changes.
Yeah. Okay, Carl, how do I do the consent?
And
agenda?
really quickly, the conditional cert is obviously this person, Trina Montoya, a conditional ESA for school nurse. Of course, she has all of her nursing credentials.
Okay.
ESAs are for when you have a state licensure. She does have a state
Okay.
licensure.
Okay.
ESA is the
She is a
component.
nurse.
Yes, she's a nurse. The component through OSPI for any of our state license, like OTs, PTs, nurses.
Okay.
So I will make a motion. Can I borrow that real quick?
Yes.
I move that we accept the consent agenda along with the additions delivered via email on August 28th.
The motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And with that, the time is 6:57, and that concludes our meeting of the Granite School Board. I don't have a gavel, so this.